I gotta be careful the way I say this. If Bibi Netanyahu, if he does something I don't like, and if I criticize it, am I like a bad Christian?
Absolutely not.
What I find strange is that we're able to criticize the American government sometimes in the Christian world with more freedom than the Israeli government.
Now, Charlie Kirk rejected an offer earlier this year from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Just imagine, guys, this is their way of negotiating. What does the mafia, the gang, Israel do? Listen, critique publicly, privately. You don't have to do this. We will fund you. You're a good guy. Come back. No. Not working? Okay, no problem. Everything you own, from your clothes to your car, to your wife or your husband, is going to forget you and move on and be replaced the moment you die. That's what Allah says, Al-Hakum Al-Takathur, Hatta Zurtum Al-Maqabir. You are busy with the worldly affairs until you visit the graves. Brothers and sisters, Masjid Norway, the one that we built, is looking to another masjid around the area of Norway, subhanAllah, where there's so many Muslims that do not have somewhere to pray. This masjid is only $500,000, and any donation that you give will go towards your AKHIRA, because when you enter that grave, nobody's going to remember you except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So make it count, brothers and sisters, and donate towards this masjid, inshallah. A new project that's only $500,000. And believe me, if every single one of us give £1, £10, £100, £1,000, that's going to be something you will never regret on Yawm al-Qiyamah, and everything that you lose is going to perish and go. But your deeds on Yawm al-Qiyamah are not. Donate to the link, inshallah. Let's get to the video. Brothers and sisters, subhanAllah, I have been looking and digging deeper and doing some research, and I want to give a shout out. I don't know who they are, but this is where I got my information from as well. A brilliant video from Propaganda and Co. They're on X, you can follow them. This is where the video is. I'm going to put an article as well to this. It gets crazy and crazier, guys. This makes sense. What I'm about to show you guys, you have to listen carefully, because we've got a whole timeline, and I'm going to play the videos of this Propaganda and Co. as well. Why Benjamin Netanyahu left the war room and is adamantly trying to carve in our memories that Charlie Kirk was pro-Israeli when he was not. And he was getting bullied. And we've got more evidence by those Zionist funders that he even feared for his life. Listen to this clip. We're going to start off with this. And this is going to get wild. It is going to get wild.
If Bibi Netanyahu, if he does something I don't like, and if I criticize it, am I like a bad Christian?
Absolutely not.
What I find strange is that we're able to criticize the American government sometimes in the Christian world with more freedom than the Israeli government. To be pro-Israel means you believe in the nation of Israel, not necessarily the government of Israel. When Joe Biden was president, you and I we loved America, but we detested our government. And those two things beautifully coexisted.
Yeah, you never once said, hey, I'm out on
America.
On America.
Of course, it was the opposite.
Exactly.
And what they don't want is they don't want to be called bad Christians if they challenge a foreign government, which is what happens so often.
Right.
Like, you're a bad Christian if you have a question about a foreign government.
Right.
That creates backlash that I don't think people understand.
Good. So, firstly, we understand, brothers and sisters, you can clearly see this is a Charlie Kirk. This is the new evolution of Charlie Kirk. This is not him before. So, do you see why they were so adamantly trying to imprint in our minds that Charlie Kirk was pro? I didn't even know he was speaking out against them. Now, this is from Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed, the message will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. Can's doing a fantastic job. Who are the two journalists? Max Blumenthal and Anya Parampil are the ones who came out with this, are the ones who came and started to talk about how Charlie Kirk was slowly but surely changing his mind. Why? Because, brothers and sisters, this is what he had to say. So we can see on the screen. We're going to do like a little thing here, PowerPoint presentation. Charlie Kirk refused Netanyahu funding offer. Benjamin Netanyahu offered him a direct funding, which we're going to read in a minute as well, inshallah, and he refused it. He refused. He was frightened by pro-Israel forces before death. Friend reveals that he was frightened, guys. He was frightened, subhanAllah. Yes, okay. And who are these? His critics. His critics had an issue because he invited Meghan, Tucker Carlson, and I think his name is David, of course, and the comedian, as you can see on the screen. Why? On his platform. He had the power to do this. He invited them, and they were pissed off with him. They were so angry with him. Why he did that? A Trump insider and long-term friend of Charlie Kirk tells the Grey Zone how the assassinated conservative leader's turning point on Israel influence provoked a private backlash from Netanyahu's allies that left him angry and afraid. So this is what they're talking about. They are not leaving this in the people's minds. And the question everybody asks, why not Candace Owens? Why not Tucker Carlson? Why not Meghan? Why not these individuals? But Charlie Kirk. There's a reason behind this. There's a reason behind this, inshallah. So, in Latin, the word's called cui bono, which means who benefits. And this word, and like I said in the video that you watched, subhanAllah, will tell you to find a criminal, you need to understand who benefits from his killing. Who benefits from his killing? Does Americans benefit from it? No. There's like a civil war about to happen. They didn't benefit at all. Who benefited? Did Iran benefit from it? No. He went to the Trump office and had nearly a verbal debate with Trump about not to attack Iran. So, no. Who benefited from this? Did Qatar benefit from this? Did Gaza benefit from this? No. There you go. Let's carry on. Let's carry on with this, inshallah. So, here is the letter from sister. Okay. Kirk was 18 years old when he launched the True USA in 2012 from its inception. His career was propelled by Zionist donors who showered his young organization with money through neo-conservative outfits like David Horowitz, Freedom Center. Yeah, bloody these people are horror. He repaid his wealthy backers over the years by unleashing a relentless fire hose of anti-Palestinian and Islamophobic diatribes, accepting propaganda trips to Israel, and sternly shutting down nationalist forces challenging his support for Israel during the True USA events. In the Trump era, few American Gentiles had proved more valuable to self-proclaimed Jewish state than Charlie Kirk. Yep, so bear that in mind. Now, yes. Not only that, he was even following this girl called Syrian girl on X, and this is what she tweeted. She said, "Several months ago, Charlie Kirk began to follow me, and I knew it meant his opinion on Israel was starting to change." So you can see the slow, gradual evolution that's happening. But Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, that Satan does not want people to remember that. This is what was actually happening behind the scenes.
So the idea that Kirk was somehow becoming a threat.
So now we're going to go to the actual video of the propaganda and co, and look what they had to say, just to break it down, inshallah, for you guys in a palatable way. Let's go to the video.
So the idea that Kirk was somehow becoming a threat to Israel was absurd. But as many social media users have pointed out, Kirk was, in fact, showing signs of evolution. The same kind of evolution that saw personalities like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Megyn Kelly, to name a few, change their tune in regards to America's relationship with Israel. According to the Gray Zone, as Israel's genocidal assault on the besieged Gaza Strip drove an unprecedented backlash within grassroots right-wing circles, where only 24% of younger Republicans now sympathize with Israel over the Palestinians, Kirk began to shift. At times, he towed the Israeli line, spreading disinformation about babies beheaded by Hamas on October 7th and denying the famine imposed on the population of Gaza. Yet he simultaneously ceded to his base, wondering aloud if Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli intelligence asset, questioning whether the Israeli government allowed the October 7th attacks to proceed in order to advance long-term political goals, and parroting narratives familiar to his most vociferous critic on the right, streamer Nick Fuentes. Back in July, Turning Point USA held a student action summit for young conservatives in Tampa, Florida. As head of the organization, Kirk would decide who to platform at this event. In a decision that enraged Zionists, Kirk decided to platform Israel critics Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and comedian Dave Smith. At the event, Tucker Carlson made several incendiary comments, taunting the Zionist billionaire Bill Ackman.
How did Bill Ackman get $9 billion? Bill Ackman a pretty impressive guy? I know Bill Ackman. No! Bill Ackman's like well-connected and super aggressive. That's it.
And even suggested that Americans serving in the IDF should lose their citizenship.
Because you can only really pledge your loyalty to one person or one country. That's just a fact. Like anybody, by the way, who serves in a foreign military should lose their citizenship immediately. There are a lot of Americans who've served in the IDF. They should lose their citizenship. You can't fight for another country and remain an American. Period.
Megyn Kelly suggested that Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli Mossad agent.
So he was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
And Dave Smith heavily criticized Israel's genocidal actions in Gaza.
Because it's not a war, it's the destruction of a captive people. Gaza's been occupied since 1967 by the Israelis, and they're now just slaughtering the people there.
On social media, Zionists went into a frenzy, denouncing Charlie Kirk as a traitor. The Jewish Zionist Laura Loomer tweeted, "After this weekend, I'd say he has revealed himself as a political opportunist."
So you can see, guys, subhanAllah, you can see a pattern. Look what is going on. And this is what we have to remember, the evolution that happened of Charlie Kirk. This was the end product. This is what happened before he got assassinated, before he got killed. You can clearly see. And this vile woman, whatever she's called, okay, after this weekend, I'd say he has revealed himself as a political opportunist. You can see, they want dead loyalty. Loyalty to... You cannot question them. And we know the capabilities of Israel, and we know that what they're capable of doing, and we've seen them, even though they're still losing the war, without intelligence and that's whatever they have. There's two options. Number one, They directly were involved. Number two, they were indirectly involved. How? Their intelligence is very strong. So they knew, Charlie Kirk said, did they say stand down? Did they say stand down? The same thing when it came to knowing that there is this guy. Look, this guy can be connected to Mossad or not. Irrelevant. They allowed it to happen. They could have stopped it, but they didn't. So it's done and do it. So they said stand down. No. Intelligence says what? There's someone that wants to take out Charlie Kirk. There's this guy who hates him. No problem. Okay. Let him be. Stand down. Do you see? SubhanAllah. The same thing they applied to the Gazans. Yes, okay, stand down, let them do so we can commit atrocities. And Charlie Kirk also calls that out. He also says that. And they did the same thing with him. There's two options from there, but let's carry on, inshallah.
Lately, Kirk has decided to behave like a charlatan. It really is shameful, and honestly, I am just disgusted with the constant flip-flopping on the right. In the Times of Israel, a blogger called Kirk out for promoting anti-Semitism. Quote, Charlie, what are you doing? You know the difference between good faith critique and coded anti-Semitism. When people obsess over APAC while ignoring Qatar, China, Saudi Arabia, the UN, that's not objectivity. That's targeting. Leadership also means knowing when a conversation is no longer a conversation, it's manipulation. It's how the seeds of Jew scapegoating get watered, not by swastikas, but by just asking questions. Finally, she warns, Charlie, don't abandon your post. You've stood for truth when it wasn't easy. Stand now with Israel, with reason, with your own better judgment. And the Jewish Zionists Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro also voiced their displeasure with Kirk over who he platformed at the summit.
We, you and I, had people who we thought were conservatives sound a lot like the Marxist Islamists who were attending this event last week, don't they? They find that conservative groups and conservative organizations that have these weekend events and these seminars, whether they're for young people or think tanks or that sort of thing.
You cannot make this up, guys. You cannot make this up. The more I'm researching and looking into this, the more it's like, wow. Blaming Islamists and this, that, those days are over. It's not working. Tommy Robinson and the far right did the protest. It's not working. Burn flag, it's not working. The world is waking up. Even in his protest, a Zionist was there, Avi Yemeni, and he told him, get out, this is about British people. At least the guy was consistent. But ironically, he's at an event arranged by the biggest pro-Mossad Zionist, Tommy Robinson. I don't know why an event and then telling Avi Yemeni to get out. Okay, there we go. So, not only that, brothers and sisters, if we read this now, following the confab, Kirk was bombarded with infuriated text messages and phone calls from Netanyahu's wealthy allies in the US, including many who had funded True USA. According to his long-time friend, the Zionist donors treated Kirk with outright contempt, essentially ordering him to fall back into line. They're warning you. Look at this, guys. They are warning. They're saying, listen, fall back into line. Publicly and privately, brothers and sisters, he is being pressured. He said that he felt like his life was in danger. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Then, he was being told what you're not allowed to do, and it was driving him crazy. Kirk's friend called the conservative youth leader was not only alienated by the hostile nature of the interactions, but frightened by the backlash. Frightened. Is this the Kirk that loves Israel? Nope. Gone are those days. Now, Charlie Kirk rejected an offer earlier this year from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Just imagine, guys. This is their way of negotiating. What does the mafia, the gang, Israel do? Listen, critique publicly, privately. You don't have to do this. We will fund you. You're a good guy. Come back. No. Not working? Okay, no problem. All right. Netanyahu to arrange a massive new infusion of Zionist money into his turning point. USA. Look, they want to control everything. They want to own everything. Everything belongs to them. True USA organization, America's largest conservative youth association, according to a longtime friend of the slain commentator speaking on the condition of anonymity. The source told the Grey Zone that the late pro-Trump influencer believed Netanyahu was trying to cow him into silence as he began to publicly question Israel's overwhelming influence in Washington and demanded more space to criticize it. I wonder who killed him. Islamists, the left, okay. In the weeks leading up to his September 10 assassination, Kirk had come to loathe the Israel leader, regarding him as a bully. And he's reading out a letter in my last video saying, he loved us. Partly reading it, The source said Kirk was disgusted by what he witnessed inside the Trump administration when Netanyahu sought to personally dictate the president's personal decisions and weaponize Israel's assets like a billionaire donor. Okay, like billionaire donor Miriam Anderson to keep the White House firmly under his thumb. Like I said before, Trump is owned by them. You voted for, you voted Trump in. You didn't vote Trump in, you voted Netanyahu. He controlled the country. And then, according to Kirk's friend, who also employed access to President Donald Trump and his inner circle, Kirk strongly warned Trump last June against bombing Iran on Israel's behalf. So did Iran benefit from Kirk's death? No. Charlie was the only person who did that. They said, recalling how Trump barked at him in response and angrily shut down the conversation. The source believes the incident confirmed in Kirk's mind that the President of the United States had fallen under the control of a malign foreign power and was leading his own country into a series of destruction conflicts. By the following month, Kirk had come to the target of sustained private campaigns of intimidation and the free-floating fury by wealthy and powerful allies of Netanyahu. There you go, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up, guys. Okay, he was being intimidated.
Why is Meghan doing the thing?
He was being intimidated. And here is another clip that we haven't seen of Meghan and Charlie Kirk. Listen to it for yourself.
Why is Meghan doing the bidding of Hamas? I was like, what are you talking about? Meghan's the best. And I said, why are you texting about Meghan? This is what they don't understand. You and I, Meghan, and Tucker is in the same category, and they've tried to go after Tucker. The more you attack our moral character, the more we're going to double down in a direction, because 100%. Screw you, I don't do it that way, okay? On some part of the population, you can scold them into silence, but if I have any deviation of a purity test, any deviation whatsoever, such as hosting a focus group, right, Meghan, with a bunch of our students that went viral, having Dave Smith or Tucker at my event, it is all of a sudden, oh, Charlie is he's no longer with us and all that. So wait a second, what do you mean? What does with us mean exactly, right? I'm an American, okay? I represent this country. The more that you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, right? Meghan, it would be one thing if it was one text or two texts. It is dozens of texts.
Yes.
Then we start to say, hold the boat here. And to be fair, some of my really good Jewish friends are like, that's not all of us, it's all, but these are leaders too, though, right? These are stakeholders, right? I'm afraid because, again, I want civilization to win. I feel the connection to Israel. But at the same time, simultaneously, when the hostile reaction is that now Meghan and Charlie are enemies, boy, I'll tell you, you're going to weaken and just basically deflate two of your strongest advocates.
Did you hear that? If they're saying, if you are seeing us as your enemies, he has issue with the private donors, the Zionist billionaire private donors who are friends of Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu, who's tried to fund this organization, Turning Point. Are you guys hearing this? Guys, Israel is written all over it. Somebody wrote, the mere possibility that Kirk, and this is so profound, the mere possibility that Kirk could start down the same path as Tucker and Candace is enough to send shivers down the spine of any Zionist with half a brain. Losing Kirk, even to a moderate degree, would represent a devastating blow to the Zionist power based in America. Ben Domenech, a co-founder of the Federalist, wrote, if Charlie Kirk remains the head of the true TPUSA, sorry, I've been pronounced that wrong, the right has anti-Semitic problem that will follow them into the coming elections. Look at that, check this out, yeah? Okay, and as we know, we talked about Daniel Bloom, okay, the Times of Israel. She wrote, his, Turning Point must continue to be safe haven for aligned pro-American, pro-Israeli Jews on campus for the future generations. Look at that, they are petrified.
Zionists.
And brothers and sisters, we will end on this note from that video from Propaganda & Co.
For the Zionists. If Kirk had continued, Donald Trump credited Kirk and TPUSA for his election victory, calling it your victory, not mine. This is why the stakes were so high for the Zionists. If Kirk had continued drifting toward criticism of Israel, it wouldn't just be another commentator questioning Zionism. It would mean the entire conservative youth movement could begin shifting its views. Unlike Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, or Nick Fuentes, who can be dismissed as fringe and independent commentators, Kirk and TPUSA had mainstream power. They organized the grassroots. They had access to the White House. That is exactly why Netanyahu offered to bankroll TPUSA, to make sure Kirk never turned that influence against Israel. As the founder of this organization, rejecting this funding essentially denied Israel the ability to gain leverage over Kirk's position as leader of the organization. So without access, they couldn't threaten to remove him from the position. And when gangsters can't buy you or control you, well, they kill you.
And that's what it is, guys. And these guys are the most evil people on this earth. These Zionists. Within 24 hours of Kirk's death, Shapiro announces that he would be launching his own campus speaking tour, vowing, we're going to pick up the blood-stained microphone where Charlie left it. The blood-stained microphone. You're going to pick it up. And guess what? You already have blood in your hands. Yes? It's not that you grabbed that mic that the blood came in your hands. You are the ones. You guys, the Zionists, are the ones behind the assassination. You guys are behind it. Mossad is behind it, and it has got the blueprint every single place. Brothers and sisters, nothing else needs to say. There is another video I'm going to be doing tomorrow about the individual, a man who was there as a setup to divert attention, and his connection to Mossad and 9/11 as a witness. Brothers and sisters, things are getting crazy, and subhanAllah, the whole world is waking up, and it's the beginning and the end of Israel. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.